Hello, hello pretty makers! Easter is almost here, so I wanted to put together a collection of my favorite Dollar Tree Easter DIYs. There's something for everyone. High-end home decor, Easter gifts, tiered tray decor, and more. As always, they are very budget friendly. Most of the supplies are from Dollar Tree, but the end result is always high-end and definitely home store quality. There's also a bonus new DIY you don't want to miss, so keep watching. I wanted to take this opportunity to thank all my subscribers. You're my inspiration, and I love hearing from you. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe, so you'll know as soon as a new tutorial is released. And don't forget to follow me on Facebook and share your own pretty creations. I'm really excited to share my favorite Dollar Tree Easter DIYs. So if you're ready, let's go make something pretty. For each egg, you'll need 2 bowls. Quick note here. There may be 2 different style bowls that look almost identical. I did have some from last year, so that could be the problem, but just make sure you check, or you'll have some issues putting them together. One is slightly smaller than the other. The first step is to choose a color. I chose white, brown, and pink. You want to paint the inside of the bowls. This way you can decorate the outside and not have any problems adhering things to the surface. Plus, it keeps the outside nice and glossy, which I think gives it that high-end look. For the white, it was easy. I just used some spray paint. It covers evenly and completely. You need about 2 coats. For the pink, I could not find spray paint, so I gave hand painting a try. First I tried using a brush, but that left a lot of brush strokes. So I switched to a makeup sponge. It did much better. You still have to do about 3 coats, but at least it's more even. By the time I got to the brown egg, I switched to a sponge brush, and it worked great, and went a lot faster and covered more evenly. I tell you, this brown looks just like milk chocolate, which is exactly what I was going for. It's very realistic. I'll be using this again for sure. Now let's attach them together. First, using a sanding block, sand the rims of the bowls where they meet. You want to take off any excess paint. When you put them together, you don't want to glue painted surfaces together. First, glue the 2 end points together. You want to get the points aligned as best as possible. Then align the sides and glue those together. You may have to squeeze it a little to make them touch. If they don't completely stick, it's okay. We'll be covering the edges, which will make it very secure. Now for the fun part. Let's decorate some eggs. This is kind of like adult Easter egg coloring. For the white egg, I created some hot glue molds. If you follow me, you know I use these a lot. First, I created a bunch of these border strips. I also made some of these button flowers. They're very cute. To make the border run more seamless, I glued 2 pieces together. Add a little hot glue to the back seam as well for added security. You'll need about 4 1/4 strips for each egg. I took all the molds for the white egg outside and spray painted them gold. Next, glue the gold borders all the way around the edge. I started at the top. Go slowly and cover the gaps between the two bowls as best you can. I think this makes the eggs really start to come to life, just like the ones you see decorated with icing. Actually, that might be a cool option, to use spackle to pipe the edges. Wish I thought of that earlier. If you give that a try, let me know how it comes out. Next, I used 2 of these pink flower wall stickers from Dollar Tree. I laid them down on the bowl, one at the top and one at the bottom. They are more paper-like than I thought, so you have to cut them a little where you need them to curve so that they will lay flat. You really can't even tell. It blends really nicely. You can also use a little Mod Podge if you think it's needed to help them stick. Next, glue the button flowers randomly around the top of the egg, anywhere you think they look good. I also used the Dollar Tree pearl and gem stickers on the center of the flower molds. Really easy, but it looks very high-end and unique. If you want an even easier option, you can use some Dollar Tree stickers. How about some flower stickers? I think they would look really pretty. Butterflies would also be pretty as well. Or even easier are these pastel button stickers. So many options. Oh wait, here's a fun idea. Maybe have an adult Easter egg decorating party with your girlfriends. Have the painted eggs ready and let everyone decorate them with stickers and glitter. Inexpensive and fun, especially if there's wine involved. Let me know if you do have a party and post your creations on my Facebook page. I'd love to see what you come up with. On to the next egg. For the pink egg, I spray painted the borders white. You can also hand paint them. Once dry, I added a top coat of white metallic for a little added shine. Add the borders all the way around the edge, just like on the white egg. Now for the best part. I diamond dusted the top half of the egg. If you haven't diamond dusted yet, you have to give this a try. I'll leave a link in the description. It's no different than using regular glitter, except for the result. Brush on some matte Mod Podge. It has to be matte. A medium to thick layer. Then sprinkle with diamond dust. This glitter is so sparkly. It sparkles more than any other glitter I've used. It also dries clear, so it doesn't cover any colors underneath. It'll look a little milky at first until the Mod Podge dries. And then pow, it's so sparkly. It's actually glass, so you just want to handle it with care. I hope I'm doing justice in these pictures. For the accent, I found this sweet pink scrunchie at Dollar Tree. And I knew I wanted to use it in a unique way. I wish I had bought more. I just scrunched the center with a small elastic, gave it a little fluff, and you have an instant shabby chic bow. I added a totally dazzled crystal flower brooch to the center. And that's it, you're done. You have this sweet, sparkly centerpiece that's got that shabby chic touch. It looks like it came straight from a high-end boutique. I don't know, it's getting hard to decide which one I like better. Now for the brown egg. For this one I was going for that faux chocolate egg look. Again, I created some hot glue molds, the borders, and some more of the flowers. I painted the borders with a couple coats of copper pink metallic, which is quickly becoming a favorite. For the button flowers, I painted 3 yellow with a top coat of white metallic, 3 copper pink metallic, and 3 white with a top coat of white metallic. Next, I added these Dollar Tree green pearls as a frame using the bowl's design as the guide. Then I added the flower molds to the center of the bowl. No special design, just make them look pleasing to your eye. I also added some white pearls to fill the gaps between the flowers. Again, add the borders around the edge of the egg the same way we did with the white and pink. And finally, added more pearls to the borders for that perfect finishing touch. I'm telling you, this was such a fun project. Quick and easy, but very high-end. As I mentioned, they're about 13 inches by 7 inches wide, so they'll definitely stand out. They'll make such a pretty accent to your Easter decor. As a centerpiece, or on a shelf, or anywhere you want that pretty finishing touch. I really can't decide which one is my favorite. I do love the glam, but that chocolate egg does look realistic. Let me know in the comments if you have a favorite. The inspiration for these cone trees were these Dollar Tree file folders. I picked them up a while ago and just thought they screamed Easter. So I knew I wanted to use them in a special way. Let's start with how to make a cone. You can make any size you want, but I like the paper mache cone from Dollar Tree. So I made a template out of poster board. Using the original cone as a guide, I traced the curve onto poster board and cut it out. It's pretty easy. I keep my template so I can use it again for different projects. The file folders were not big enough to make the large size cone, so I had to piece them together. The turquoise folder was a little harder, so I'll show you that one first. The back of the file folder had some branding on it, so you can't use the entire portion. I cut out the parts with no print. Then pieced it together, trying to match the pattern the best I could. I used packing tape on the seams in the back to keep it together, making it as seamless as possible. Then I traced my template for the cone onto the file folder and cut it out. Next, roll the sheet into the cone shape. Start at the point and make that as tight as possible. You have to work with it a little bit to get it to the right point. Then you work your way down until you have the cone even all the way around. Keep the bottom on a flat surface so it will stand flat. Use hot glue to secure the seam. Start at the point and make sure it's holding before you move down the seam. If you look closely, you will see where it is pieced together, but it blends very nicely and it's not a big deal. Do the same for the paisley folders. At first, I couldn't find the second folder for the third print, so I ended up making a small version out of just the front of the file folder. Keep watching to see what happens when I finally find the second folder. To make these look more high-end, I added some hot glue molds. Yep, you know me, I love using these molds. They add such a pretty touch. For the turquoise, I made some borders. You need about 2.5 to go all the way around the bottom. For the paisley, I used some large swirls, about 4. And for the third print, I used some smaller swirls, again around 4, goes nicely around the base. I took all of the pieces outside and spray painted them gold. Glue the embellishments to the bottoms of the cones. Start with the borders for the turquoise. Seam 2 pieces together with a little hot glue to the ends. Then add some heat and some more glue to the back to secure it even more. Put the long strip you just made on the base of the cone, leaving the ends unattached. Cut a piece from the third strip to fit that gap. Then glue it all in place. I think these molds are what really take it to the next level. Next, I glued the other embellishments to the paisley cone. At the last minute, I did add some gold button molds with some gems. You'll see that in just a minute. And finally, smaller swirls to the small third cone. I'm also a fan of the look of finials, so why not add that touch to these cone trees? Using some Dollar Tree wood snowmen and trees, I painted them gold with my trusty paint pen. Then little by little, I trimmed the points of the cones down so I could fit the finial in the top. Trim a little at a time. You don't want to trim too much and it not fit. Once you have it fit, glue the finial in place. And that's it, you're done. I like putting these on candlesticks. It makes them look like trunks for the tree, and it also adds additional height. Here's the third cone. I finally found the second file folder and was able to piece enough together to make a bigger cone. I added the smaller one on top, which gives it a little different look, but goes perfect with the collection. Now for the gnome. I made a plain poster board cone from my template. I added some turquoise Dollar Tree glitter paper on the top 2/3 of the cone. I did have to piece it together with 2 sheets, but you really can't tell. It doesn't have to be perfect at the bottom, that will be covered. For the beard, I used some Dollar Tree dusters. You need about 3 to go all the way around. I ripped them open down the seams, then glued them around the base of the cone. For the nose, I painted a ping pong ball with light cream colored paint. I wanted this gnome to go with the cone trees, so I made 2 more hot glue border molds and spray painted them gold. I glued them together to make a ring, similar to the borders on the turquoise tree. I was able to slip it over the top of the cone so it meets the beard. I didn't glue it in place. Glue the nose in place to the cone underneath the band. I had these bunny ears left over from last year, so I don't have footage of that. I just cut them off of the headband. I used some of the printed file folder for the inner part of the ear, so it would match the collection. I think this was a nice touch. I was actually able to slip them behind the hot glue band because it's not glued down and had a little give. One more hot glue medallion in the center, and yes, a little bling. A finial on top, and you're done. I placed him on top of a gold Dollar Tree candlestick, which was perfect. You can actually decorate these gnomes any way you want. My original one had flowers and some Easter eggs, which is super pretty. The core for this project is a plastic egg. I got this larger egg from Dollar Tree last year, but you can use any of the plastic eggs from Dollar Tree or Walmart or anywhere you find the right size. I also used the hinge from a Dollar Tree treasure box. It was a box I had left over from a failed project. I just unscrewed the hinge from the box. You can also find these parts on Amazon or Walmart. I'll leave a link in the description. I painted my egg with white chalk paint. Next, I removed the round hangers from some Dollar Tree Christmas bells. They were the perfect size for the opening of the egg. If you don't have these Dollar Tree bells, you could also use the plastic children's bracelets from Dollar Tree. They would be just as perfect. I trimmed off the plastic edging around the bottom half of the egg, and I also trimmed off the connectors on the round gold hangers. I glued one hanger to the top half of the egg and repeated this step for the bottom half of the egg with the second hanger. You can really start to see how pretty this will be. I also wanted a finial for the top, so I added a button hot glue mold and a mini Dollar Tree Christmas ornament together to make the finial. You can see how I make these hot glue molds in my giant Easter egg tutorial. I'll leave a link in the description so you can check that out later. I used the tip of my glue gun to melt an indentation in the button mold so it would fit the ornament upside down. And bam, you have a finial. Next, line up the two halves of the eggs and use a clip to hold them together. Glue half of the bracket to the top half of the egg, and once it's completely dry, glue the other side of the bracket to the bottom half of the egg. Be careful not to get any glue in the bracket mechanism. Here's where you get to be creative. I decided to use these gold butterflies on the egg. I thought it was a really pretty touch. You could use stickers or Mod Podge a pretty napkin. Just be creative and have some fun. I love how all these DIYs came out. How simple materials can make pretty high-end decor for your home. All you need is a package of the wood Easter egg tags from Dollar Tree, another package of the Dollar Tree pink and blue push pins, a package of the antique rose stickers from Dollar Tree. These have such a great vintage feel. A spare piece of poster board, as well as some silver and gold metallic spray paint. First, I traced the egg tag onto the poster board and cut it out. I gave the egg tag 2 coats of baby pink paint. I also painted a white border around the foam board with the pink paint, as well as the foam board rim. Then I dry brushed a little extreme shimmer in champagne on top of the pink to give it a more vintage feel, but this is optional. Here's the best part. On a whim, I took the pink push pins outside and gave them a light coat of the silver spray paint. Make sure you hit the bottoms and the sides as well. You don't want to cover all the pink. You just want to lightly dust them with silver. Then I even more lightly sprayed some gold metallic on top. You want all the layers to subtly show through each other. Now let's put it all together. Glue the wood egg tag to the foam board. Add one of the rose stickers to the center of the egg. Now push the pins into the edge of the foam board all the way around the egg. Originally, I was going to use the pins out of the box, but I'm so glad I layered the spray paint. It really gives off a vintage effect, a real spring Easter feel. I am so happy with the way they came out. So much so that I made a yellow one. The steps are similar to the first one. I used one coat of yellow and a coat of gold metallic on the egg tag, just to tone it down a little bit. Paint the foam board the same way you did in the first one. For this one, I used the blue push pins. Spray paint them the same way with the silver and gold. Add the sticker to the center and the push pins to the edge of the egg all the way around. It's like you can't go wrong with this look. They came out very pretty. They will look pretty in an arrangement, on a wreath or a tiered tray, in an Easter basket, or oh wait, how about attach them to the front of a wood crate or wicker Easter basket? The possibilities are endless. All you need is a Dollar Tree wood egg blank. Some Dollar Tree flower stickers. Dollar Tree is really killing it this year with their stickers. And some Dollar Tree silver beaded necklace that I washed with some white pearl paint to give it that antique feel. This is really, really simple. Just add the stickers to the front of the wood egg. Overlap them a little so you don't lose the shape of the egg. And it also gives some dimension. I added some Dollar Tree bling to the center of some of the flowers. That's optional, but I think it really adds a nice touch. Now, hot glue the beaded necklace around the rim of the egg. Optionally add a piece of ribbon as a hanger. And that's it, you're done. It's super easy and super pretty. You can use this on a wreath, on a tiered tray, or add it to the frame we made in the Valentine's tutorial. Because I used Velcro on the frame, it's interchangeable. Let me know if you have any other designs that would be cool to add to the frame. The basics for what you'll need are some of the large glitter eggs from Dollar Tree. They are a nice size to make into decor. I chose pink and blue. You'll also need the pink and blue push pins from Dollar Tree. The idea was to use the Dollar Tree push pins to make them look like the old-fashioned ornaments we made as kids. I've used this technique a few times before, so I'll leave links in the description for those tutorials so you can check them out later. My first thought was to use some small Dollar Tree flowers. I removed the petals from the stems and used the push pins to add them to the egg. It was very pretty, but I felt like I was losing the shape of the egg. and I ran out of petals. So I changed the design and used the petals just around the middle, but used more push pins in vertical lines. This too actually came out really pretty. But you know me, I like some bling, so I decided to change it up completely. I took all the pins out and started over. That's the nice part of these eggs. They sort of self-heal and it doesn't show any damage. Again, I started with the pink egg. This time I took some Dollar Tree gold diamond wrap and using the push pins, attached it to the egg in vertical stripes. Then I added one stripe around the middle. I added a pretty totally dazzled button to the middle of one of the sections as a focal point. But I still wasn't totally happy. So I grabbed some gold thumbtacks for added interest. I played around with the design and ended up making more vertical stripes with the thumbtacks. Now it's more Faberge looking. The beauty of this is you can make any design you want. Just have some fun. Next, I started on the blue egg. I did the same vertical stripes with the gold diamond wrap, but this time with the blue push pins. I used the blue diamond wrap from Dollar Tree to make more vertical stripes. And of course, another totally dazzled button as a focal point. I slipped a large Dollar Tree pearl on the top of each egg using the ribbon hanger, which was the perfect finishing touch. I really like how these came out. They're quick and easy. I may just go back and get the yellow one to make the trio. I can't decide which one I like better. Let me know which one is your favorite. In true Faberge style, I put them on the stands I made in my Christmas tabletop decor. Okay, here's the new bonus DIY. A super easy Mackenzie Childs inspired Easter decor piece. It's similar to the fall greeting card frame from my fall tutorial. I'll leave a link here if you want to check that out later. All you need is a pretty frame. This is one I got from Goodwill. I love the oval shape, it reminds me of an Easter egg. But you could use a Dollar Tree frame as well. The only other two supplies you'll need is the Easter window cling from Dollar Tree and some check contact paper, also from Dollar Tree. All I did is trace the glass from the frame onto the contact paper and cut it out. Add the window cling to the glass. I folded it over a little as it was too big, and then use the contact paper as the mat for the frame. Put it all back together and you're done. I did add a little bow at the top and a touch of bling because that's what I love. But how super easy was that? Maybe about 5 minutes to put together. I think frames are a great way to make easy home decor that you can change for the different seasons and holidays. Post your frame creations on my Facebook page. I'd love to see how you use them for your home decor. And keep an eye out for this frame because I have a lot more ideas how to remake it for more amazing home decor. I hope you saw something today that inspired you. If you did, please subscribe. I'd love to know which project was your favorite and if you created one of your own. Follow me on Facebook and post your creations. I love hearing from you. I thank you for watching and keep making pretty things.